Hariom children, let us begin the session for the next academic year, and I am about to start a lesson called Human Health and Diseases. Definitely very relevant for the present scenario. Let us see what are the concepts of health. The earliest concept, which was actually suggested by the Ayurveda as well as the Greeks like Hippocrates, they believed that health is actually dependent on a wonderful balance between different humors in our body. The word humor means body fluids. Body fluids like blood, bile, lymph, and any other fluid that is there in our body are called as the good humors. When there is a balance between all these humors, a person is supposed to be termed as healthy. Now, those who are very familiar with the Ayurveda stream of medicine, you must have heard about Vadam, Pittam and Kabam. Now, Pittam is actually bile and Kabam is mucus. So, the Ayurveda system actually even now basically relies on the balance of these good humors. However, there is not much of, let us say, people have not accepted this theory to a greater extent, and so the good humor theory was the first propounded theory. It stands as such. We pass on to the second theory, which is known as the genetic theory. I'm sorry, not the genetic theory. The second concept revolves around the mind. Mind is definitely a strong power which in turn influences both our nervous system as well as our endocrine system. The mind influences the nervous system and the endocrine system, and both these systems in turn is responsible for developing good immunity in our body. And when we have a strong immunity, definitely we know that we have good health. Now, I cannot discount the fact that good immunity is directly proportional to good health. Definitely there is a huge relationship between immunity and good health. So that's the second concept. The third concept or the modern concept depends upon certain factors. The modern concept, the first one, is the genetic factor. Now, all of us know that genes play a very important role as far as health is concerned. So, definitely, genetic factor is one very important factor as per the modern concept. The second is freedom from infections. The moment you are infected, say by any kind of microbes, you cease to be healthy. But when there is freedom from infection, definitely you are termed as healthy. So that is again part of the modern concept. And the third one is lifestyles. Lifestyles means having good food, good water, exercise, freedom from substance abuses, etc. will definitely help us in developing good health. So this is just a introduction to what exactly is good health. We learned that the first one is a balance of the good humor. Second is mind, which in turn influences your nervous system as well as endocrine system, and that in turn boosts up your immunity. And the third one, the modern concept, depends upon the genetic components. Second, about the lifestyle, and the third is freedom from infection. So this is as far as the modern concept is concerned. However, WHO or the World Health Organization has put across a wonderful definition to define health. Now, according to WHO, health is defined as a person's physical, mental, social, and recently they have added two more parameters, which is the emotional as well as the spiritual well-being. And so we define health once again as per the WHO concept. WHO says that health is a state of a person's physical, mental, social, emotional and spiritual well-being, and not merely the absence of a disease or infirmity. That is the definition of WHO. Absence of disease or infirmity. What do you mean by infirmity? Infirmity means sickness. So WHO has taken 5 different parameters into consideration to define what exactly health is. Let us, think about each of these parameters in detail. The first one being physical health. Now what do you mean by physical health? Physical health means it is the proper functioning of your body, of the organs as well as the organ systems in your body. Now suppose your eyes are functioning properly, your ears are functioning properly, your heart is functioning properly, your digestive system, your urinary system, your respiratory systems are all functioning properly. That person is supposed to be healthy as far as the physical terminology is concerned. So physically he is said to be healthy. Now physical parameters are easy to measure. For example, we have the ECG to test your conditions of the heart, the EEG to test the brain functioning. You have the bone densitometer to test the density of the bone. You have the blood routine test, which can give you the information about your circulatory system as well as several components in the bloodstream. The urine analysis also helps you in detecting certain information about your urinary system. So the physical attributes is measurable. So physical health means it is the condition of or proper functioning of your body with respect to your organs as well as organ systems. Okay. Now let us come to the mental factor. The mental component means how well a person can balance between himself as well as his environment. How well he harmonizes himself with his environment. In order to live and function properly, that is the meaning of mental health. Without any stress, without any anxiety. If a person can harmonize with the environment, we call that person to be mentally healthy. Now, for example, it is not very easy to measure. It is not a very measurable, component, unlike the physical health. Mental health is far more difficult to measure. But, for example, let me tell you. Now, if I ask you this question, are you all mentally healthy? Definitely, all of us are mentally healthy. But don't we at times have anxiety? Don't we at times have stress? Definitely yes. Now all these minute level of stress and anxiety makes a person work better for achieving a particular goal. Now for example, last year many of you joined fresh in our Vidyalaya, and some of you were very comfortable in your previous school. You had to shift from that school, take an admission in our school, and at the same time, some of you had to take admission in a hostel, probably Chinmay Balaniketan or probably some other hostels. Initially, I am sure all of you had an element of stress. You are anxious. What is it going to be? How is this new school going to be? Will I make new friends? How is the hostel culture? Will I be able to adjust with the hostel culture? Now all these kind of anxieties were there in your mind. But probably some of you within a few days, some of you within a few weeks, some of you probably in a month's time, you got used to your new environment and you learned to live in harmony with that particular environment. Which means all of you have become mentally healthy. Or for another example, suppose you have an examination tomorrow. Aren't all of us, having a level of stress? Definitely. All of us, all of you, even me, if I had to write an examination, would be stressed out because there would be an anxiety, but that doesn't mean that you're mentally unhealthy. That is a kind of, a factor which helps us do well for that particular activity. However, in certain situations, the mental health, a person cannot harmonize with the environment. And such people do not have healthy conditions. They fail to harmonize, they cannot live in harmony with the environment, so you cannot call them as a mentally healthy person. It may lead to depressions, it may lead to psychosis, neurosis and such conditions. So we learnt about what is physical health and what is mental health. So let me just recap. What did WHO tell you? WHO says that health of a person is dependent on the state of well-being as far as physical, mental and social, spiritual and emotional. Let us come into the social aspect. Social health means how well you have a societal interaction, how well you can interact with the society. You have good food, you have good water, you have a shelter, you can, probably communicate with, your neighbors, with your friends. That is social well-being. And how to stay away from substance abuses, alcohol, tobacco, drugs. How to stay away. All this comes under social health. Now, just imagine a scenario. A person is physically very healthy. Mentally also, he is very stable. But he comes home every day at night, thrashes up his wife, creates a lot of disharmony at home. Can you call this person to be socially healthy? Absolutely no. He is not socially healthy. Suppose he is under the influence of some substance abuse. You cannot call that person as a socially healthy person. So, don't ever have the feeling that just not having a disease is being healthy. You are to be healthy. The next parameter is spiritual health. Now, what is spiritual health? Spiritual health means the divinity within each one of us is recognized by the other person as one, and we experience oneness or well-being within each one of us. Why is that? As far as our school is concerned, why is that we greet each other as Hari Om? Now, Hari Om means I recognize the divinity in you and you recognize the divinity in me, and we bow down to each other. Now, the moment we realize that the world is governed by one universal force, and this universal positive force keeps us going, there's no more hatred, there's no more revenge, there's no more petty crimes in the term of in terms of religion. All this is known as spiritual health. Countries will stop fighting with each other, religions will stop fighting with each other, communities will stop fighting with each other, because we know that there's nothing but one super force within each one of us. And this nowadays is also known as spiritual quotient. We have to elevate our spiritual quotient. The moment we increase our spiritual quotient, we become healthier. We attain that by meditation, by pranayama and so many other techniques of improving our spiritual quotient. So we saw the 4 parameters: physical, mental, social, spiritual, and we come to emotional well-being. Now, emotional well-being means how we reinforce positive feelings and we negate the negative feelings. Let us reinforce the positive feelings of joy, compassion, helpful mentality, affection, caring of others. And the moment we develop all these positive qualities, we also develop within ourselves a quotient called as emotional quotient. This emotional quotient is very, very important. Earlier, I think we were all aware of the intelligent quotient, but now the emotional quotient has come to play, the social quotient has come to play, as well as the spiritual quotient has also come to play. So the moment one person has all these parameters in proper manner and there is absence of any kind of disease, we call that person as a healthy person. So this is the definition of health as far as WHO is concerned. Now let us see what are the advantages of having good health. Having good health, the first advantage is it definitely increases your efficiency at work. Efficiency at work means, suppose you come to school with a very minor ailment like a common cold, which probably all of us at some point of time do develop. Some of us almost every month we develop a common cold. It is just, a dripping of a nose, a sore throat and so on. But are you efficient in the school? You come to school, you try very hard to listen to what the teacher is trying to talk, but are you 100% efficient? Can you listen to what the teacher is actually trying to deliver? No. So while at class your efficiency is reduced, in the same way, if a person is, suffering from some kind of ill health and he goes for a work, you think that he can be efficient? Absolutely not. So, advantages of good health is efficiency at work. The second advantage is productivity. When you are efficient, you become more productive. And productivity in turn leads to prosperity. Now, I'm not talking about an individual productivity or an individual prosperity. Health in terms of the entire country. Now, you know that Japan boasts of high health standards. So also does our own, God's own country, Kerala. And when there is efficiency at work, we have a tendency to increase our productivity. And when we are productive, that in turn leads to prosperity. Prosperity of the country, prosperity of the nation. So these are three advantages. Other than that, it also reduces the IMR and MMR. IMR, what is IMR? IMR means infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate means normally children, when they are born, in some countries, they fail to, reach the first birthday. They die before their first birthday. And that is because the mortality rate is high. So, infant mortality rate becomes low when there is health. MMR is maternal mortality rate. Maternal mortality rate also is reduced when there is health. So these are two very important reasons for health: increase in IMR as well as decrease in IMR and decrease in MMR. And the fifth reason for or advantage of good health is increases longevity. How long you live, your lifespan and quality lifespan. So these are some advantages of good health. I repeat, one is to become more efficient at work, two, to increase the productivity, and that in turn maps to increase in prosperity. Third one is decrease in IMR as well as MMR, infant mortality rate and maternal mortality rate, and the last one is increase in life expectancy or longevity. Now we pass on to the next topic, that is, the next topic is how to attain good health. There are different ways for attaining good health. The first way is think, definitely having good food, balanced food. Now what exactly is balanced food? When a person gets all the nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, roughage and water, definitely that individual is getting all the nourishment and all the nutrients to keep most of the diseases away, because good food definitely leads to increase in immunity. So the first way to attain a healthy lifestyle is having good food or balanced food. The second way is personal hygiene. Now personal hygiene is something some people they feel that it is not at all required for good health, but definitely having a bath regularly, or having two baths. As far as Kerala conditions are concerned, it is very very sultry. Having two baths in a day, changing your clothes, especially your innerwears, periodically every day, and keeping your hair clean, keeping your nails short and cut, having proper oral hygiene, all these definitely is part of personal hygiene. A person is required to have personal hygiene in order to keep away your microbes at bay, in order to increase your health. And personal hygiene in turn should lead to domestic hygiene. Suppose you're very perfect, very clean, you go to the extent of even brushing your nails and keeping every part of your body perfectly clean. But suppose in the domestic front, there is less of cleanliness. The food is not prepared in a clean manner. It is left open and it is visited by houseflies as well as cockroaches. Do you think your personal hygiene is sufficient to keep you healthy? No, not at all. Because personal hygiene should be leading to domestic hygiene. There should be domestic hygiene, there should be cleanliness all around in your house, especially as far as your food as well as your kitchen is concerned. And domestic hygiene in turn should continue into community hygiene. Now we know that there are a lot of diseases which happens when there is no community hygiene. People dump garbage here and there, and that makes a perfect breeding ground for rats. And that in turn can lead to so many diseases, not only rats, microbes, other maggots, flies, etc. So personal hygiene leading to leading to domestic hygiene, and community hygiene is very very essential for maintaining good health as far as any individual is concerned. The third factor is proper exercise. Now this is something I think the present generation often forgets. Proper exercise is a must for maintaining good health, and exercise in any manner. It could be running, it could be walking, it could be jumping, skipping, it could be dancing, it could be aerobics, Zumba, yoga, anything. All these are very very important for maintaining good health. So we spoke about the first point was balanced diet, having good food. Second was personal hygiene. Third one was having good exercise. The fourth point for maintaining good health is having a regular vaccination regime. Now the government of India has put forward an immunization schedule where there are so many diseases kept away. The moment you are born, you get vaccinated, you get your BCG vaccination, you get OPV or the oral polio vaccine. So there are a number of diseases which are kept at bay due to a strict immunization schedule which is launched by the government. So that is yet another way for keeping yourself healthy. Immunization can help you help you from preventing diseases like polio, tuberculosis, measles, mumps, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, and there are so many other diseases also which are kept away due to immunization. So that is yet another way to keep yourself healthy. Then the next way is to protect potable water sources. Now when we know that there is a water source and this water source is potable, it is our prime responsibility to keep it away from any kind of contamination. It could be pesticide contamination, it could be other kinds of contamination. So food as well as water should be kept safe away from contamination, and that in turn has a wonderful trajectory of maintaining good health. And probably the next way of maintaining good health is awareness of a disease. Awareness of a disease means, suppose you have a little brother or a sister at home, and you find that your younger sibling is having severe bouts of vomiting and diarrhea. You have learned in the lower classes what should be done when there is excessive loss of fluids from a person's body. I'm sure many of you sitting there would immediately think of ORS, correct? The oral rehydration solution. And when you administer the oral rehydration solution, definitely you can, that's the first line of action to be taken before he is taken to a proper medical practitioner. So that is awareness of a disease. Or you know that there is water stagnating near your house, and this stagnating water definitely breeds mosquitoes. And this mosquito, when it breeds, can lead to a number of diseases like malaria, filariasis, dengue, chikungunya, etc., etc., etc. Now, as a sensible human being, now what is the first line of action that you will take? Definitely you may use different kinds of mosquito eradicating methods. It could be using mosquito creams, or it could be putting a mosquito screen, or sometimes you may even try to eradicate the breeding site. Now all this is because you're aware that stagnating water can help in breeding mosquitoes, and mosquitoes in turn will cause diseases. So that is awareness. Or suppose you are running a sore throat. You have a sore throat. Instead of going to a medical practitioner, what is the first line of action? Definitely your parents or your grandparents may have told you the first action to be taken is warm saline gargle. All you require is a little warm water, a little of salt, and gargle it. And when you gargle, you realize that your sore throat immediately diminishes. So all this comes under awareness of diseases. So we learned the different ways by which you can maintain good health. Now for the time being, I think we'll stop with this particular topic. I'll come back to you later. Have a nice time, children.